I just want to talk about the Toonami speech about Black Lives Matter and basically like what it meant to me, seeing it and hearing it. Um, as y'all know, man, like on this channel, I say this all the time. Like Toonami is the reason why I love anime. It is the reason why I started watching it and watching different types of anime. Toonami is solely responsible for that. Matter of fact, it might be it's responsible for the anime boom in North America. Ask any kid, most likely, they got their start with anime on Toonami. Like, that gotta be in the 90 percentile. And I talk about Toonami a lot because you gotta understand, growing up, the only anime I saw before Toonami was Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Samurai Piece of Cats, and Mega Man. And all of those came on the same channel. They came on channel 11. That's the channel used to be called the WB. So back then they used to call it the WB with the dancing frog or whatever. And those were the only, at that time I didn't even know they were anime. I thought all of that was just cartoons. Everything was cartoons to me. And then Toonami came into my life when I went through a major change in my life. I had switched schools, so I wasn't around like my homies that I grew up with, you know what I'm saying, no more. And that was just like I got switched from like a predominantly black school to a predominantly white school. And like I ain't never been around that many white people in my life, ever. Like my neighborhood, like the neighborhood I grew up in, especially in the radius and like the blocks in that radius, there's no other race on those streets or on those blocks. Everybody black. There weren't any white people, Hispanic, nothing. It was just all black people. And switching from that to a predominantly white school was just like such a culture shock for me. I didn't relate to nobody. I'm already a quiet person, especially if I don't know you. I'm one of those people, like I speak when I'm spoken to, and the only time I speak up is if I'm like upset or I'm drunk or something. And at that time, like it was so hard for me to adjust when I went to my new school that I spent a lot of time in the house, like, cause I ain't had no friends, I ain't had nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know nobody, and at that time I was really stubborn. I ain't want to get to know nobody, and like all I kept thinking about is like what's going on in my old block or the old blocks I used to run around. You know what I'm saying? And who doing what? You know what I'm saying? And there was no social media back then, so I can't just hop on Twitter and see how everybody doing, or hop on like Facebook or Instagram. That wasn't happening. You gotta actually call, like, and actually remember the number, remember whose number you calling. But when I switched schools, I was in the house all the time, and like Toonami got me through that, man. Like straight up, like no cap. Like I started, like I saw Dragon Ball Z, so I was familiar with that, and I was already a fan of that. But then I'm seeing the stuff that came after it. I'm just like, well, I'm in the crib. I don't want to go outside. I don't know nobody. There ain't no corner store I'm used to. There's nothing out here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I might as well just watch all this. So I'm watching Gundam. I'm watching Blue Submarine. I'm watching Yu Hakusho and all types of stuff, bro. And like the only thing I didn't watch on Toonami is probably Sailor Moon. I've never seen anything about. I've never seen Sailor Moon, not even one episode. I don't even know what it's about. I'm gonna watch it one of these days. I'm gonna add it to my collection one of these days. But that was like the only thing I didn't watch, and I just remember it was Gundam Wing. I watched DBZ and then I saw Gundam Wing, and I didn't know what was going on in Gundam Wing, but all I kept thinking was like, wow, this is different from DBZ. Like, there's a little bit of action, but it's not as intense. And I just remember, like, I know this supposed to mean something, like the dialogue and stuff, but it just kept me like into it, you know what I'm saying? Especially that was my first mech anime. So that ended up becoming one of my favorites, my favorite anime ever, even though I don't even think Gundam Wing is good at all for real, because I watched it as an adult. So now I understand the dialogue, I understand the pacing, I understand character development, but it's still something near and dear to my heart because I was an outcast, you know what I'm saying? Like, being black in a predominantly white school is like one of like the craziest experiences I've ever had in my life, you know what I'm saying? And like it was just a weird time, and it was something I had to get adjusted to. It took me like a couple years to get adjusted to it, you know what I'm saying? And Toonami was one of those things that got me through that. And just the numerous like content that it put out there and put me on and switched up, and I was just like, damn, like I wish I could just have a library of all this stuff. And I damn near do now, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm older and like I get money, so it's nothing for me to buy Blu-rays and DVDs of like my favorite like anime, you know what I'm saying? And now like my collection is based on Toonami. Toonami is the reason why I have the anime collection I do now. So to see Tom talk about racism and explain why racism is trash and talk about and say Black Lives Matter, that meant the world to me, man. Like, I was just like, damn, I didn't get emotional, but I almost did get emotional because it was just like, it took me back to that time where it was just like, this the thing about social media. I always say like social media is bad, but like the one good thing about social media is that it's exposing people. It's exposing things now. Like back then, the only racism I experienced as a kid came from police. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I didn't grow up around white people. They weren't in my area, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really experience any like racism. Like, I didn't experience amongst like another black kid, you know what I'm saying? That never happened. You feel me? That's impossible. But I didn't start experiencing more racism until I went to the predominantly white school. I'm like, yo, like, that was the first time I like got into fights with people calling me the N-word and stuff like that, like, and thinking it's cool, you know what I'm saying? And like I got into a bunch of like just fights over that shit, and that's when I didn't start understanding like how racism worked until I got into high school, and I was like, okay, like, because like I said, back then it was just the police that I would see being racist to either like me, my friends, and I wasn't one of those kids that was just, you know, in the shit, in trouble, stuff like that. Like some of my friends was, but I guess they viewed me like just guilty by association, you know what I'm saying? And it was just different back then, man. And now with social media, it's exposing it. So you see a new video every day of somebody being racist, like, or somebody fighting or saying something homophobic or anything, you know what I'm saying? It's exposing like the people who are terrible people, and like I think that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure it's somebody who didn't like what Toonami did and they saying like, wow, why y'all waiting 10 to, I think they've been around close to 20 years, so probably like 10 to 20 years to say a message like this now. Well, it's now because back then you weren't seeing that unless they went on, like, I don't know, on TV and said something, like a talk show, and said something racist or something like that. You know, you was just going by like word of mouth. And then, but now we seeing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you, dog, like, you have on film and on straight video a man getting shot in his back 7 times by the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, back then you wasn't seeing that. Like the only thing we saw was the Rodney King beatings. You know, that was it. You rarely saw like black people being executed by the police on video. Now it's a new hashtag every week, damn near, you know what I'm saying? So to hear a fictional character, Tom, I mess with you. If I could smoke weed with you, I would. Somebody got to dress up as Tom, and I'll pass you the blunt, man. Please, that's a request. But to see Tom on Toonami speak those words, and again, you gotta understand, in the black community, Toonami is the reason why we know anime. Actually, almost in every community, it gotta be. You know what I'm saying? They the reason why we know anime in America. To see those words spoken, and to hear them spoken, that just made my. I had a good weekend. It was a busy weekend, but that just capped off, like, it made it perfect for me. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, this was a good weekend, and like I'm glad I saw that, and I needed to see that. Of course, you're gonna have some people mad. You know what I'm saying? The all lives matter people, all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. This ain't about them. This about the positive, like the positive shit, man. I ain't shedding no light on them people, but that's probably one of the coolest things I ever seen and experienced, man. And I'm glad I got to experience, man. So shout out to everybody at Toonami that was behind that, you know what I'm saying, put together that speech. That's very dope, man. And it just that, yeah, man, y'all real, man. Y'all okay with me, man. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know how, like, Toonami influenced y'all. What was y'all favorite thing to watch on Toonami? All that stuff, and what y'all think about the speech, man. Again, just powerful. Very, very powerful. I love it.